This is Terror Talk with Michael B., and I'm your host, Michael B. Today I want to talk to you guys about CERN and the effects it might be having on our reality and your individual journeys. I'm also going to talk about some of the new Mandela effects that have appeared after CERN fired. This one's going to get a little weird. Are you guys ready? All right, let's go. First things first, what is CERN? Well, located in CERN, Switzerland, there is a large Hadron Collider. Now, a Hadron Collider, you can Google what it is, but it's basically a particle accelerator. And what they do is they collide particles to try to recreate the Big Bang, and not the TV show. Stephen Hawking himself warned back in 2012 when they first fired up the collider that the collider could cause grave damage to our planet. He goes on to say that the God particle that they created from these experiments could destroy the universe. Now, if you've ever seen the movie Angels and Demons with Tom Hanks, there's a scene in the beginning that shows them using the particle collider and creating the God particle antimatter. Now, you can see why there's concern about what's happening out there. As I mentioned earlier, CERN has supposedly started up the Hadron Collider on July 5th. But evidence suggests they may have started it in April. But that's a whole new conspiracy. Now, if you go on social media at all, you'll find people that are pointing out some of the new Mandela effects since this latest restarting of CERN. If you're not familiar with the Mandela effect, it's when a collective group of people remember something the way it has always been, but it's now changed. I'll give you some examples of some of the Mandela effects that have been with us from 2012 and 2016 when they last fired up CERN. We all remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, right? And we all know the song. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Well, it's not anymore. Now, it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. I'm pretty sure we all remember the song and the words and the, but that minor little change is what's present in this reality, and that's a Mandela effect. Apparently now, it has always been this neighborhood. One I remember from my childhood is Stouffer's Stovetop Stuffing. Well, that doesn't exist, never has, wasn't out there. They even had a song. Another one from from my childhood was a movie starring Sinbad called Shazam. I remember this movie clear as day because Sinbad was not a forgettable man. He had like red freckles and reddish hair. I mean, you remember Sinbad. Well, that movie apparently never existed. That would mean that the memories I have of me sitting in the den watching it with my parents don't exist. Now, I have seen an interview where Sinbad said that he had the movie removed and that he bought up all the copies. Well, stop it. How did you go around the globe and buy up every copy so that now it doesn't exist? That just sounds like something was getting out of hand and he was put up to that to put an end to the controversy. There's plenty more of these Mandela effects that you can look up online. There's really tons of them. Some of them are minute changes, a lot of spelling differences. Berenstain Bears as opposed to the Berenstain Bears. Oscar Mayer or Oscar Mayer. Now, that one's crazy because how are you going to change the spelling when we all used to sing the song? My baloney has a first name, it's Oscar. My baloney has a second name, it's Mayer. Now, if you want to sing that song, you have to say my baloney has a second name, it's Meyar. So you may actually remember a different one, and maybe it changed and you came into our reality. You know, there really are no explanations for this, but they're out there. If you do a search, some of them can actually blow your mind. Now, since this new refire, people have been noticing some new Mandela effects, and they came out pretty quick. The one that really set me back a second and shocked me was Tom Cruise in Risky Business. Now, we all remember this scene where he has on the dress shirt, no pants, the sunglasses, and he does the iconic sliding into the hallway and does the dance. Well, wrong. Go Google it. No sunglasses, never had sunglasses, never part of that scene. That's what a Mandela effect is, and all the proof is there. You will not be able to find a scene where he dances with the sunglasses, even though that's what you remember. Another new one is King Tut. We've all seen King Tut. He's got the little thing with the cobra or whatever in the center of his headdress. And it's just always been like that. Well, now it seems that he has two things in the center of his head. A snake and something next to it, some type of, I don't know if it's like a banner or I really can't tell. But it now takes the center of his headdress and makes it like a V because there are these two things protruding. I don't ever remember seeing that. What do you think? Another good one. Your beloved Oreos. Now, we've all been young and mom goes to the supermarket and comes home with the good old double stuffed Oreos, right? Well, no. You're not getting double stuffed Oreos, nor have you ever got double stuffed Oreos. What you got was double stoof Oreos. S-T-U-F. Now, I know for a fact it's never been double stoof, but fire up the CERN Hadron Collider and shift us into a reality, and now go to the store, you're getting yourself a Oreo double stoof. So, nobody really has explanations for the Mandela effect other than we're shifting into a different reality than we were in originally. And to go along with that, you would have to really be on point with the alternate realities and stuff like that. If you're not, then all I can say is there's no explanation for it. People do blame all these on CERN. Apparently, when they're firing this, it's taking us and shifting us or forcing us into a new reality, a new dimension. I really don't know. I mean, I know this thing has created black holes. It does things that they don't even tell us. So could we be shifting? Yeah, 100%. I believe in alternate realities. I also believe that I can shift myself into a different version of myself with the right meditation and intention. And I do it all the time. So you're gonna have to get on with the Mandela effects if you wanna, have some type of an answer here. If you wanna delve in and get a little information on the alternate realities and stuff like that without being overwhelmed, I actually suggest you go watch the entire all the seasons of Rick and Morty, because even though it's a cartoon, they do a really good job at teaching you without teaching you about all this alternate reality and stuff like that. I was actually surprised to find out how accurate the cartoon is to the beliefs that I've accepted. So if you don't know about it, watch it. It'll help you out a little bit. But anyway, let's get back to July 7th with CERN. So the next day after CERN was started and everybody was looking for Mandela effects and all that other stuff, the Georgia Guidestones were destroyed. Right. What are the Georgia Guidestones, Mike? Well, they are 4 20-ton stone slabs, and they have a top and a middle piece. And they were written by an unknown person in the 8 most common languages: English, Chinese, Arabic, Russian, Hindi, Swahili, Hebrew, and Spanish. And the title of the messages engraved on the stone is, "In an apocalyptic or catastrophic event, these are steps to building a new civilization." Now, the stones are also aligned strategically with celestial events. The cap of the stone is aligned with the North Star, and the stones also have a horizontal cutout that functions in the center of all of the 4 stones as an astrological calendar. And every day at noon, the sun shines through the cutout, and it works as a calendar by whoever set this thing up. Now, the reason people are concerned about the stones being destroyed is because the top line of the text on the stones reads, "Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature." Now, we're obviously much more populated than 500 million, and people are convinced that something is going to happen to cut down that number. COVID, monkeypox. No, they have a valid concern. We're currently over 8 billion people on the planet, so I could see why some crazy person somewhere has decided that we need less people. Now, it's suggested that these stones were built by the Freemason, and not the guys that hang out at the local chapters and drink, but the Illuminatis. Yep, I said it, the Illuminati. And if you don't think they're real, okay. Now watch, I'll have a mysterious car crash now for saying that. Nah, not in my reality. All right, so 6 years after the Guy stones were erected, the unknown designer, who goes by the name R.C. Christian, published a book, Common Sense Renewed. Now, he sent a copy to everyone in Congress and several thousand political officials. This book is basically an explanation that all our problems come from the overpopulation of our planet and that people in Congress should control this. That sounds a little familiar. So why were they suddenly destroyed? Well, again, we have to go to the conspiracy theorists, and their opinion is that with the events such as COVID and everything else, that they're trying to reduce the overall population before they remove our freedom. And, that's another story, but I just like to give you guys the background of what's happening. Now, there was some surveillance footage released of the destruction of the Guy stones, but it's kind of got some holes in it. The video does show someone walking up to the stone with a package. Now, before I get into that, even more bizarre is rather than these things, being destroyed and left with one stone down on the ground and, kind of like Stonehenge, it's just left there to be. The next morning, there was a crane and they removed these stones completely. The next morning, which means somebody had to go out there, see that they were destroyed, and instantly call and say, hey, we got to get these things out of here, quick. That wouldn't happen. You can't get potholes fixed that quick. You can't get things removed that quick. Something's up there. So, another interesting thing about the stones is a statement made in a documentary about them. And the statement was, those who have guarded this great mystery and who have guarded the evolution of the human species itself are returning. Now, who is that? Well, I could do a whole nother podcast about who's coming back and who was here and stuff like that, but you can listen to that one next. Now, with no proof of any of this, we just find ourselves wondering what happened, just like with the moon landing and who shot JFK. Yes, I said both. Another mysterious event surrounding the destruction of these guide stones is the surveillance video is clearly a reproduction. Now, the surveillance camera they have set up shows information, a timestamp, stuff like that, just like most security cameras do. But in the video that they released of the damage of the guide stones, the timestamp and all the information that would, show you that it actually happened when they say, suddenly is removed. It's just gone. You just see a video, everything's gone, and nobody says anything about it. This is just what we're supposed to accept. Now, it's clearly a cover-up after the event to hide what really happened, whatever that may be. So, why do I bring up CERN if it's all a conspiracy theory? Well, there's apparently one more thing that happens, or can happen, when they fire up CERN. People are awakened. Some actually find themselves with the gift of mediumship. Now, this happened to my team member, Heather. Heather is my medium for my team, one of them. In 2016, she went through an awakening, and she's now one of the most accurate mediums I've encountered. And these events kind of coincide with the restarting of CERN. When I found out that they were starting it up again, I was excited to see if I'd progress any further in my awakening. Now, if you guys have followed me, you'll know that about a year ago, I did completely change. I've had my awakening. I've become gifted spiritually. I used to say I was an empath. I've progressed to psychic. I train with mediums who believe that I have mediumship abilities, which I am not confident in yet, so I will not call myself that. But I do have a story. if you guys never followed me before, back in 2016, I was a regular guy. I was running an event venue, and I hosted private parties, events, stuff like that. I was successful, and I wasn't looking for anything. I wasn't doing anything. I was just living and working. 2016 came, and I didn't become a medium, but I started to have a calling to my awakening. And since then, I've completely changed myself. I've shifted to other realities. I'm a different person. I meditate multiple times a day. I've met my higher self. I've had the ego death. I've done it all, and I love where I am now, and I'm always trying to learn and progress more. I had no knowledge of CERN or anything else was going on. I was just living. Now, I won't go into the entire story of how I transformed. You can read all about that in my book, Terror Talk, The Awakening, and that's available now on Amazon. And yes, I just did a shameless plug. Go buy my book. It's interesting, and you're supporting me and my channel, and I love you guys for it. Okay, so did anything change after this latest CERN event? Well, most definitely they did. First, I woke up, and I felt as if I woke up in a better reality for me, more connected with my higher self. More of the things I've been working on are getting closer to forming for me. My overall awareness is different, and I feel disconnected from the human race and more connected to a spiritual existence. But only a week after CERN, I was meditating, and I had my first visit from someone who passed. It was my cousin who died a few years ago. He was still kind of young, but I never really saw or got to know him because of his life choices. We were different places in the country, a little bit different in age, but definitely a lifestyle that I would not be around. So when he appeared, my first question was, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Not, "Oh my God, I'm seeing a dead person," but "What are you doing here?" I guess I was expecting somebody else. I could see that it was just his conscious energy that gives you an impression of what they look like. But it's his spirit and not the physical person that I knew. So he showed me some of the reasons why he chose that life. And it was actually a really good connection. I got to understand a little bit better. A lot of times we see people and we judge them for what they do. But once you get the background of, why did they do that, or what were the reasons they were forced into that, it kind of cleared things up a little bit, and I had a new outlook on the guy. But after about 5 minutes of having this quote-unquote talk with my deceased cousin, which I've never done before, I started to think I was going crazy. And I asked myself, is this real? Or are you just imagining an entire conversation that, you can't validate, so yeah, it could be real. So, what did I do? I stopped the conversation, and I decided I wanted to ask for something that I can confirm with his living sister. Now, he has a sister that's a little bit older than me. She's my cousin, and I could validate with her this experience. Before I even got any further, I was instantly shown a lion. It was a lion's face. I don't know if it was an image, if it was a meaning behind it, if it was a tattoo. All I got was lion. I didn't ask anything else. I just said, okay, lion it is. Now, I don't know anything about these family members, so this would be an amazing confirmation if I could get it. So I finish off my meditation. We finish off. He gives me some messages, which I hold for the people that he's given them to. But the next morning, after my morning meditation, I go on Facebook and I send my cousin a message. And I just ask, does a lion mean anything to you? To which I got an instant yes. Now, after I explained why I asked, she seemed a little concerned that her brother wouldn't know about the lion. She didn't realize that this was an even better confirmation because he would know once he crossed over, because they know everything. So that to me was the ultimate validation. Now, my deceased cousin did have a message, so he asked that I deliver the message that he's good there and that no one should worry about him. That was my first official medium reading experience, and it's actually kind of hard to believe. I was there, I was getting information, I validated what I asked, but it's not like somebody came and sat in front of me. It's more like I talked to the person earlier, And I recorded their conversation with me, so I knew the answers as I was sitting there. It wasn't like I was hearing it live. It was just kind of in my mind. I just knew. I would ask a question, I would know the answer. I would, say something, I would see something. It's something I'm learning. I'm loving it. And my personal plan for the next few months, while they have this accelerator running, is to actually act, think, and live for only the things I want in my reality. Now, again, if you follow any of my social media or my podcasts, thoughts become things. I will not say or think anything that I don't want to happen in my life, and I train people to do the same. So, the hopes is that with all this crazy, mind-boggling stuff, is that it's actually real. And that by me matching the vibration of only the things that I want to happen, I'll be transported to the reality where those things are happening. Now, that's called manifesting, law of attraction, and it's something I live by that rule. I live by it. I've increased and intensified the manifesting ceremonies that I do to really, really, really give myself a boost. And if it's something that you guys are looking to do, I suggest you do the same. Set your intentions and believe and say only things that you want to happen. Never talk bad about yourself. Never talk about things you don't want. Sit in meditation and imagine what it is that you want and you being there. And most importantly, how does it feel to receive that thing that you want? Once you can match the vibrational feeling of what you want, you will bring that to you. I know it sounds like magic or, silliness, but it works. So I want you guys to leave me some messages in the comments or, write me an email. What do you guys think about CERN? Like, are you experiencing anything? Has anything changed? Are your spirituality, any gifts, anything like that? I'd love to talk to you if you are. If you've had a massive awakening, contact the show. Let us talk to you. We'll have you on as a guest. And, we'll go from there. But I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to be doing more frequent, shorter podcasts in between my investigations. We're still going out and we're investigating these places and we're trying to help people. And I want to be able to bring you guys the video with the editing, but I also want to be able to give you guys some podcasts. So I decided I'm going to shorten the podcast a little bit so that I can do them more frequently. And that'll leave me time to do some more elaborate YouTube videos so that I can bring you guys the best content. So that's it. If you have any topics you'd like me to cover, anywhere you want me to go, you want to see us investigate, send me a message, comment on one of our social media. I want to go out and I want to bring you guys the truth and the answers that you're looking for. Please be sure to check out my website. It's Terror Talk NJ. All my projects are on there. Everything I'm doing, link to my book, link to my podcast, link to my YouTube. Anything that I do, you'll be able to find on there. You can subscribe to the site just to stay connected. And that's it, guys. Until next time, stay safe.